Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a slightly different one, and the reason I'm doing this is because I just had this guy on camera, just very briefly, posing next to Blade and Punisher, and I've never done a review like this. It's not really a review, it's just a bit of fun, where I've just got the figure without any combat or weapon poses, and I put in the gesture hands, which I don't normally do. Is when I'm filming I will demonstrate them in the figure, but this is about the different poses that you can achieve with just the gesture hands. So we're coming close on that side profile, and there's the two hands in question, the fighting fist and that other gesture hand. So I'm going to move the figure around a little bit and show off some of its profile and its detail and see how we get on with it. So I like that first pose. I'm going to change around the other way and see what that looks like. So he's square on. Haven't changed the pose. And I do like that look. Let's get close in on the detail. I've tilted his head down, and before I change him round to the other position, I'll tilt the head up. So the head is now up. And sometimes when you get figures, the first thing you do is keep them in the poses that they came out of the box in terms of the hands, and then you start digging into the accessories. And I always think if you're going to buy something, you might as well make full use of it, and this is what this review is kind of about. So let's get close in on that. And I do like the head when it's tilted up like that. The pose is initially still the same. So let's try another position. So I've got him with his back to me, and the only time I've ever done this, I haven't actually done this on camera. I've had my DC figures, mainly my Batman and Superman figures, with their backs to me in my display so I can see their capes. It's never been seen on camera in any of my touring videos, but I like that effect, and it also gives you a chance to take notice of the detail on the back, and you can take it slightly to the side so you don't see the entire face. Then you go around the other side and do the same. You see those billy sticks, and so let's move it on. So I've squared him on and I've dropped his arms, and it gives you a chance to see the figure in its most simple pose. When I was a kid, I used to read Daredevil a lot and Black Panther, but it was never as popular as it is today because we're normally joined up with other superheroes. But when Stan Lee decided to focus on these characters, Black Panther and Daredevil, in their own right, people could see what I could see, which I thought they were really clever characters to create. A blind man that is a superhero, a man without fear. And I just come over the top briefly, only this once, just to show you the the second season of Daredevil. I'm currently trying to chase down the third season, and the same for Punisher. I'm a season behind. I've watched them and they are good, but it's a case of I don't think they're available in my country unless you go through Amazon or eBay. But we're gonna take him off his knees or his one knee and see what else we can create. I just wanted to do this side profile shot, change out the arm positions, and this is a nice figure. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's had a good reception from the fans, this Marvel Legends release. I was trying to pick up a Gamerverse Kingpin, which I really liked. I actually thought it was really expensive by the look of it. I think you know the one I'm talking about, the new release, where he's in the black suit. But it was only 31 quid, and I intended to buy it today, but someone bought it. Hopefully it will come back into my toy outlet and you'll get to see that on camera. I think I'll, excuse me, I think I'll be trying to pose that Kingpin with my comic book Spider-Man figures. I think I have about 4 of those in my collection, but we'll see what happens. So let's try another one. So he's now on his feet. This is the first kind of review I've been doing like this, and I think it helps you not to rely on the weapons to get a decent pose. And often you will see Daredevil when he's not necessarily using those billy sticks. He's actually fighting with his fists in a martial arts style. And I like the idea of him doing that. Same with Spider-Man, he didn't always use his web shooters. And I was glad to see Daredevil appearing in the last Spider-Man film. And I think I might do some more of these. I think the Punisher would be a good one, because I've got some ideas in my head about that. But I'm going to change the position of the figure but keep the pose. So the pose is the same, but I'm just changing the direction of the figure. This is good practice. I will try this with other figures, but this is a nice one to start with. I'm now after the classic Daredevil comic book look, because that's the image I remember as a kid, and I think it would be interesting to see that figure in these kind of poses without using the billy sticks. So we'll move it on. Interesting one. Extended the arm, the punching arm, pull back the gesture arm, sort of kind of in a striking pose for martial arts. And I do like that. And I watched the last season of Daredevil and I really liked it. And you know what it reminded me of? The Robert Pattinson Batman movie. It was like a build-up of events introducing the Punisher, and at the end it kind of ended that way, just like the Batman movie. All the villains were set in place and something big was coming into Hell's Kitchen, and I can't wait to see what happens in the new season. So let's try changing the punching arm into a different position to see what that looks like. Unusual, but this is all experimental, because this is the first time I'm not relying on the weapons, but just what the posing fists and gesture hand can do. Let me see if I can put him sideways on and see what that looks like. Hit and miss, I suppose. But this gives me an idea in the future what we do when I get other figures. Let's do another one. I've dropped his posture kind of in the style of Bruce Lee. And I've been looking on the internet actually and looking at the latest releases of Bruce Lee 6-inch figures, and I like every single one of them because I've got all the films, and those releases of those figures have done really well with his likeness. And I hope to one day get a Bruce Lee figure on camera, because I myself have a background in martial arts from when I was a kid. I studied Aikido, that's Steven Seagal's martial art, and a bit of Jeet Kune Do. I'm not saying I'm a Bruce Lee or anything like that, but I like the idea of martial arts and the discipline that's involved for mind and body. So let's try another one. So talking of Bruce Lee, that's the kind of thing he was known for. Another bad impression by me. But let's see if we can keep him that way in a different kicking style. So, got him standing on the other leg, doing a martial arts kick. And what you learn about figures when you want to do these sort of poses, especially when you've got no foot stand there, is you learn about the balance and the weight of the figure. I'm going to change out the arm position slightly and keep him on the one leg pose, see what that looks like. That's not bad. Doesn't seem quite anatomically correct. Maybe from that angle looks better, but I will try one more before my luck runs out. I like that one now. That seems more natural. But it's all about the gesture hands and the punching fist. So in the future I might tackle other figures without relying on weapon poses and call these more like combat or hand-to-hand fighting poses. That's a nice angle there. Don't know if it will go on the channel, but if you see it on the channel, obviously it will be. But this is a bit of fun late at night. I've done this in the past, but I've never put it on the channel before. So let's get him back on 2 feet. Kind of like this one. It's not quite the one knee pose. Actually, it's kind of Spider-Man-y. I've tilted his head up. I'm going to keep this pose and just change the position of the figure so it looks different on camera. Well, I was undecided whether I was going to actually put this on the channel, and that's the honest truth. But having looked at that on camera, I'm definitely sticking it on there. And I don't care if I have one viewer, as long as someone sees it, because I really like that pose. There's attitude there, there's movement. You could imagine that being in a comic and illustrated that way. I'd love to put my, well, I haven't got it yet, but I'd love to put classic Daredevil in this pose. I really do like it. So I'm going to do a different arm position with him and see what that looks like. Let's go for it. Game on. Yep, I've got the arm on the right, going for the billy sticks. Changed the fighting fist arm onto a lower platform. Do like that. I'm not going to stay on long with it, but I'm going to change his angle again. That's nice. I'm liking this. I really do like it. Never had him in these sort of dynamics before. When the figure got released, I was on YouTube looking at seasoned collectors putting him into poses, and I thought, yeah, like it. Don't remember any of this sort of stuff, but it's all good to me because this guy is my childhood sort of comic book hero. Of course, I love Spider-Man and Batman, but I tended to like the ones that weren't popular in their day, like Daredevil and Black Panther. And I'm so glad to see these guys come into their own. I love this pose. I'm going to try something else in the same pose, but a different direction. I apologise for that technical issue, but I tilted his head down because I often do this with my figures in my display. You don't have to see everything, you just have to imply it. So his head is tilted down. He could be in deep thought. Who knows? It's all a bit of fun. There was my finger there. I'm getting carried away with myself. Okay. So sorry about that slight malfunction in my finger, but I might wind it down soon before I get carried away. Kind of similar to what you've just seen, but every little bit of tweaking of the figure changes its slight dynamic. Coming up to 20 minutes, so I'm going to knock it on the head on 20 minutes because I'll be here all night. Incidentally, that thing there is part of the Build-A-Figure wave. When I got Blade, that came with it, and a kind of helmeted thing. I think the figure's called the Mindless one, and I wouldn't mind having it, but you'd have to collect these other figures to get it, and I can't be arsed with all that. I only bought the thing for Blade. Okay, let's start to wind it down. So yeah, he's on his feet. I'm trying to keep the head down because I like the way that looks. Kind of adds a bit of mystery to the guy. But we're coming to the end. That's not too bad. Daredevil, the man with no fear. Still trying to keep the head down. You can still have a good pose without having him facing you. Take that sideways on shot. And his hand is now reaching for those billy sticks because he senses danger. Keeping that pose, I'm going to change the angle. And I do like that. His back is almost turning towards me, but you still see enough of a profile and a little bit of that head. It's kind of a pose that you would see him in the series where he's in the dark, deep depths of the enemy territory and he senses something. So he drops his posture and reaches towards his billy sticks. So we're in the 19th minute, so on the 20th minute I'm going to knock it on the head. Continuing on the theme, he's virtually got his back to us. Just move the camera around. And the arm on the far side of the body is being pulled out so you can see that. But even though there's not a lot going on dynamic wise, there is movement and there is a feeling he is in readiness mode. So we're almost at 20 minutes, so I'll finish with one more. So that's it, folks. I'm going to come right back, So you can see those two props, and then I'm going to come in real close, and I've got him tilting his head straight up. His other hand is on the billy stick. He's ready to go to battle. Let's get a nice angle shot, a close-up on the head section. Charlie Cox. Is it Charlie Cox? My mind is going. It is late at night, so I do apologise. Is Daredevil, the man with no fear. Don't know why I'm doing an American accent. As you can tell, I'm no good at impressions and I'm no good at accents. Let's go around here. Quite like that. That's profile there. So that's just a demonstration then, for me, more for me than anyone else, of trying to pose figures without necessarily having them with weapons. Make use of the accessories with the other hands and gesture hands. And actually I'll do one more with him looking directly at the camera, and then we'll leave it there. So guys, that's the last pose, and I've been a bit selfish. It's been about really doing this one more for me, not really wanting to put it on the channel, but I thought, looking at the poses, I think I will stick it on the channel. And I like these dynamics you can get this figure into. And won't do it for a few weeks, but I think I'll have a go at doing Punisher in much the same way. We're just putting on the other gesture hands. His gesture hands are exactly the same as Daredevil's, only obviously they're flesh-coloured skin hands. And I like the fact that I've had a go at it. Hasn't been a disaster, and I did it mainly because I had him briefly on camera posing with Punisher and Blade, but this is him doing his own thing by himself, and I definitely will do the Punisher next. So thanks for watching the channel. Wasn't going to stick it on the channel, but I am now. So take care, see you next time.